Hey guys, what's up? My name is John, Gamester81, and you're listening to the All Gen Gamers podcast, episode 102. We are recording this on Tuesday night on July 10th. I'm here with Pete Dorr. What's going on, Pete?
Not too much.
Also here with Jason Heining. What's up, the EMU review? What's going on, Jason?
As the children say, what it do?
Also here with Metal Jesus Rocks. Jason, what's going on?
Not much, man.
Awesome. And our special guest this evening is Mike Kennedy. Let's see, where do I start? Because he's really involved with gaming here, retro gaming primarily. He is also a host of a podcast, a Retro Gaming Roundup. And he's, he's the owner and founder of GameGabble.com. And what else, Mike? EKGaming.com?
We just started launched a new retail site that we can get into just briefly, and that's about it. Those three sites right there. And I'm living the good life in the cooler weather of Southern California.
Nice. Well, I mean, man, those three things alone will keep you any man busy. I mean, wow. I don't know if you remember, Mike. I mentioned the very first time at the Classic Gaming Expo last game. Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2010, I guess.
And I remember you guys were recording your podcast, Retro Gaming Roundup, and they can just find it on iTunes and RetroGamingRoundup.com.
Yeah, RetroGamingRoundup.com, or you can find us on iTunes. We do primarily it's hard to believe, but a retro gaming podcast. But we pretty much cover most generations of gaming up through maybe PlayStation or Dreamcast. You know, there's a little debate on in our circles if PlayStation is considered a retro console or not. I think that it is, but
I think it is too.
I think it is. You know, I think it was maybe one of the last ones. So, but we can be found relatively easily.
Yeah. And then also you have a YouTube channel, the Game Gabble on YouTube, and I like your videos because you do you do those things where you go to the Big Game Hunter, where you go to like swap meets and stuff like that, and kind of
yeah. Big Game Hunter actually was Pete's idea. I originally did I was part of another podcast, Shane Monroe's Retro Gaming Radio, and did a segment there called Chasing the Chuck Wagon, where I would just record my walkings through the Southern California swap meets and kind of let everybody listen in on stuff. And then what was it, Pete? Maybe a year and a half or maybe 2 years ago, Pete sent me an email. He says, "Dude, there's these 3D or these videotaping sunglasses. You really need to get these sunglasses and wear them and then make a video out of it." You remember that, Pete?
Yeah. And because the style, like you were going for that style, but you couldn't just, it was hard to do the way you were doing it. And then I figured, go spy style, and then the people doing it in real life. Yeah, and it's so funny to watch it because you're talking to the people trying to negotiate with them, and they're like staring you right in the eyes, and it's so creepy.
It's weird. The quality is not the best on that thing, and I know the audio, basically sucks on it. I've tried to use the video and then sync it up with the recorder that I was using, my MP3 recorder. It was just too friggin' hard, So it is what it is, But it's fun. I try to, consciously talk a little bit louder, but there's a point there where you sort of look like an idiot.
How much for this Nintendo game?
Yeah. Well, plus these glasses. Yeah. If you've ever seen these glasses, they're like freaking huge. I mean, they're the ugliest looking sunglasses I've ever seen in my life. And
has anybody ever realized that you're recording with those things?
I don't know. No. But I do have guys coming up to me now because I've never made it a secret where I go hunting for games, right? I've been going to two swap meets out here, Golden West and Cypress, which are two colleges. And I've been doing these swap meets basically every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, both swap meets for, probably going on 12 years. Yeah. And, they've always just been a wealth of great gaming finds for me. And now I'm starting to have people come up to me and ask me. I had one guy last weekend, swear to God, walked up to me and said, "Are you the Big Game Hunter?" Because I stick out like a sore thumb. I mean, out here, it's mostly minorities that go to these swap meets. I'm this big, tall, white guy. I just stick out like a sore thumb, I think. And plus, I've got these dorky-looking glasses on. And the funniest thing is, a couple of times when people have approached me, they've never said anything, but they're wondering if I'm recording, like while I'm talking to them or not, while I'm looking at them. And I think one time I was, but I don't think I never aired. Well, maybe I did put it on one of the shows. It was with Syphic. He found me out here. I don't know if you guys just saw his video, but he just had this huge TurboGrafx score. Did any of you guys see this video?
At the swap meet, he found the TurboGrafx?
No, I don't know where he found this, but it's making the rounds all over the forums. Basically, it was less than a week ago. He posted a YouTube vid. He's a local guy out here that kind of, he just posts his finds videos like a lot of us do. He found about 30 or 40 sealed TurboGrafx games, including Magical Chase. This was insane. You should have seen all these. It was every, a box of 3. I mean, every hard to find game for that system he found sealed. It was just unbelievable. I mean, brand new sealed in their boxes. And I think he's doing a follow-up video, kind of the story behind it, how much he paid. But I was just sick. I'm just thinking, shit, I'm hoping he didn't find him at the swap meets, because I don't go I've been skipping a few weekends and stuff, and I'm just thinking, oh man,
Same one you go to usually,
Yeah. I've run into him quite a few times, and I'm starting to run into a lot of people now. It's for a while there, it seems like there wasn't as there was a lot of people maybe back in the early to mid 2000s. And then it's so weird to me still saying 2000s. I don't know what to call it. You know what I mean? It's like back in the 90s.
Yeah.
It confuses the hell. But 5 or 6 years ago, I was running into that guy all the time. But then 3 or 4 years, I haven't really run into anybody. And now I'm just starting to run into people again. But I think they're fueled by, the game chasers and maybe my shows and the retro hunters. There's all these people out there basically doing this now. And I don't know if it's creating more competition for all of this, I think, but it's fun.
It's so bizarre that they're so anal about like cameras too, because I know I've mentioned this before a number of times, but Jason and I got kicked out.
Yeah, I remember.
It's just like, it's so crazy. I think half the shit's probably stolen. Who knows? Who knows? But no, it's really a good time. The problem we get here in Phoenix is a lot of it's sun faded. A lot of stuff they lay out in the sun, and some of the games, the labels get sun faded, and they just lay it out there. But you can score some really good deals on some games for sure.
Yeah, when you go to the swaps out there, do you generally see the same stuff in the same booths, or do they mix it up quite a bit? Out here, every weekend it's all new stuff. It's just it's everybody's got new stuff. I don't know where all this shit goes. After the weekend stuff doesn't get bought, but I mean, every week you get new stuff. They're crazy.
Yeah, I've only been a couple times, but several times it's been new stuff. So, the cool thing is you can negotiate with them too, and kind of work with them as far as pricing goes, and you can kind of throw in, hey, can I get this game and this game for this price, and kind of bundle it up, like do a better deal for it.
The funny thing about that is, I mean, they all of the vendors there, I mean, obviously they don't have a clue really what they're selling. They don't specialize in any of that stuff. And so what games they try charging the most for, most of the times are the real common games that they've heard of, the Mario games and Donkey Kong. And, it's not unlikely to go to somebody's booth and they'll have like Super Mario World for the SNES for, $25, and right next to it will be Earthbound for $5. Because they've never heard of Earthbound, and they don't know what it is. But, by God, it's Mario. We got to charge more for Mario. So I think most people that go to the swaps will vouch for that. It's pretty kind of how it is. They don't know what they've got. And most of the time, the common stuff, a lot of times, is more expensive than the real rare stuff.
Next time you run into Earthbound for $5, can you pick me up a copy? Thanks.
I will be honest with you guys. I have never found Chrono Trigger Earthbound. I keep thinking to myself, why haven't I? I mean, I find SNES games, by the dozens every weekend. And you would just think sooner or later, I know it's a good game and people keep it, but did they short print those? Weren't there as many, or what? Because you'd still think you'd come across them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point. Real good point. Never seen them.
What does it go for on your Game Devil site, Mike? What do you usually see those Earthbound sell for?
I don't know if we've really had too many of them on there, but anything that's rare, whether it's sold on eBay or my site, it's going to sell because, first of all, people are looking for them. We've got enough traffic on Game Devil now where the rare stuff does very, very well. But generally, what's Earthbound going for? Pete's probably the expert on that. It's over $100, I think, now, isn't it?
It's crazy. The loose copies now, you can't get a loose copy for less than $100.
Yeah,
I got my box copy just in the nick of time. I paid like $120, $150 for a complete copy with the guide and box and cart and everything. Now those, forget about it. You're talking like $250 at the least.
especially if it's not great, if it's graded. What do you guys think about grading games?
Oh, man. Well, the funny thing about Earthbound, I don't think Earthbound was ever truly sealed.
Yeah.
New copies of that game were just in the cardboard box. They were never sealed in plastic. So grading Earthbound is kind of weird to me. The whole VGA thing, though, I don't know. That's a very iffy subject. I'm not one to go and get my game VGA graded, but I have to say one thing. Like, people actually buy those things, though. That's the thing, you know?
It's surprising. You know, I thought it was stupid when they were doing it with sports cards, but I could kind of understand sports cards, you know? but
I just don't know how they'd grade games. Like, what do? They get a magnifying glass and they, like, inspect the plastic. I've heard stories where people will send a game in and get it graded and then, like, open it up and send the same game in and get a different grade the next time they send it in. So it's like, it's not a perfect system.
Right.
Make sure to follow us, the All Gen Gamers podcast, on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube and in iTunes. And don't forget about those iTunes ratings, guys. We appreciate those. And for all other info, links, and our forum, please visit www.allgengamers.com.